I'm looking at how the landscape is right now. Nobody's getting to spring practice, probably won't see any spring games. So I'm putting an emphasis right now on returning production. Guys that are known commodities on their teams, but also the returning staff of many of these coaching staffs, because everybody is going to suck in September. Like, everybody's going to be sloppy. Everybody's going to be bad. But I think you have a way of mitigating that if you're returning the bulk of your coaching staff and returning the bulk of your team. So I was taking a look at Bill Connolly's returning production statistics, and I want to run these by you. At near the top is Houston. 93% of their defense, 73% of their offense, 83% overall. I expect Clay Tooney to be the guy at quarterback. I like what they have at wide receiver. I like what they have at running back. I understand they lost their 5-star transfer from Alabama, but it feels like this is their year in the American, if there was ever a year. Even as Memphis, I think, is poised to just be right back there again in the American championship game.
Yeah, here's the issue with Houston, all right? I don't know if you've taken a look at their schedule right now, but holy crap. It is absolutely ridiculous. I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
But give me just a second. Okay, so they start off with Rice, easy enough. Then they go to Washington State.
Yep.
They go to Memphis. They host North Texas, which should be fine. Tulane should be fine. BYU is going to be kind of a tough game on the road. Then Navy, UCF, Cincinnati. South Florida's fine. At SMU, it's tough. And then finish with Tulsa. Like, it's a tough schedule, man. You get, again, Washington State in the non-conference, which is probably going to be a loss. You get BYU in the non-conference. That probably is going to be a loss. And then again, UCF, Navy, Cincinnati, and SMU. I mean, it's honestly kind of hard to figure out, where their wins are going to come from, especially with so many of those games coming on the road. Now, maybe they're just so much better that it's okay, that, they end up being fine. But, I don't know. It's kind of hard not to find 4 or 5 losses to start with on that schedule. Now, if 2 of them are BYU and Washington State, that's fine because they're not conference games. But, man, to have to play all of those teams in one year, if they go through and win 9 or 10 games, my God, they will have completely earned it because it's an absolutely brutal stretch. Now, I do think the improvement will come. I actually think that Clayton Tune is a pretty good fit for what Dana Holgorsen wants to do, maybe even better than De'Aaron King. But still asking that offense to take a big step forward with Clayton Tune now sort of I guess he's a true junior at this point, which is kind of wild based on how his career has gone. But nobody has a whole ton of sort of big time experience on that offense, and I don't know. It's just hard to see where exactly the production comes from.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna pick this up, and I'm gonna put on a cape for Houston right quick. All right, I'm gonna do this. Rice, we agree, right? Washington State, Nick Rolovich is the head coach now, not Mike Mike Leach. Right. Yeah, no. Nick Rolovich coming from Hawaii. They needed to be able to put in a scheme. They're not able to put in a scheme. You get them early. Everybody's going to be crappy in September. I think that they could get that W. So I'm going to go 1-1 there.
Hey, let me point out.
Okay.
Mountain West Division champion Hawaii. Let's have some respect now.
Hey, man, Cole McDonald and his tattoo and his mini tattoos. I picked Hawaii to cover against Arizona last year in week 2, and I was so excited that they came through for me because yes, everybody's buying into a Khalil Tate that is not going to be here this time, and that was totally wrong because he nearly came back and won that game. But all right, cool.
Don't get me started on Arizona.
So I got 1-1 for Houston coming into 2-0. Let's go 2-0. And then Memphis, all right, I'll give that an L because I love Brady coming back. Brady White is coming back. I love being able to have, Kenneth Gainwell might be the best tailback nobody is able to talk about because, Patrick Taylor came back late and we had such dynamic running back play last year. North Texas, let's call that a win. So you're 3-1 going into October. The Green Wave, you ought to be able to get that a win. So you're 4-1. At BYU, let's say that's tough, and I'd make that a pick 'em, but for the sake of argument, let's call it an L, right? So 4-2. Navy lost its magic man. You don't have to deal with Malcolm Perry anymore, right? So they're going to have to start somebody new. I'm going to call that a win. Yeah. In October. It's not a week removed from, I don't think they have a bye going into that game. Otherwise, Navy might be something different. UCF, that's going to be interesting because Central Florida was good last year. Had no business losing to my alma mater, Tulsa, but they potentially are going to start Mackenzie Milton at quarterback, and I'm not going to bet against him. You know?
Yeah, we'll see, man. I won't believe that Mackenzie Milton's ready until he's out there. But Dylan Gabriel is still really good if he's not ready.
Right. So Cincinnati, that's going to be tough. Luke Fickell was able to retain Marcus Freeman, which is a really big deal for me. I love Marcus Freeman as a defense coordinator. I hope he gets a head coaching job soon. So UCF win. SMU, okay, Bouchel's back, but you got a new offensive coordinator. You might run a different version of it. I mean, I get it's Lincoln Riley's little brother, but they're not the same person, and you lose James Prochet. You know, I believe Xavier Thomas is returning, right? Or not Xavier Thomas.
Xavier Jones is out.
Jones.
He's gone.
But
okay. You do bring back Reggie Robertson, who I think is maybe the best receiver in Texas next year.
Ooh! Well, let's unpack that in a second. And then Golden Hurricane, I don't know, man. Like
you better win that game.
I mean, like for my Hurricane. Yes, you better win that game. But I'm like, you know, defensive backs over there are pretty good, so maybe they'll give them a tune-up. But not like it feels like they could be 1-3 in this, is what I'm saying. I think they could finish 1-3 in the American.
Yeah, and look, obviously going against Tulsa, you got to go against Baylor legend Zach Smith.
Oh God,
it's never an easy situation.
Man, look, I live here. I do radio here. I went to school there, and I'm just constantly on Monty's case because he doesn't recruit any of the kids from the area. He's just going to Texas to get everything, and then you put together a 4-8 season. I'm gonna be upset about it, you know, as alumni.
Right.
So I mean, Houston was one of those teams that I wanted to pick on because, of course, you cover the state of Texas, the entire state of Texas. But who do you think? And I'm gonna kind of hit on it and kind of gave one away. Who are the 3 best players in the state of Texas right now?
Okay, 3 best players in the state of Texas.
Across any region, FCS. You can go to Tarleton State if you need to.
All right. That might get a little too crazy.
Okay.
I think that Tarleton is losing a lot, so we'll at least put that in context. No, I mean that is the thing that kind of sucks is that sort of the good teams from the sub FBS are losing their best players. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to pick a sub FBS player, but I think Sam Ellinger's on that list. I'm not saying he's 1 or 3, but I think he's on that list. It actually kind of gets kind of hard.
Okay.
I do think that Shane Buechele is also on that list.
Okay.
He was a game-changing quarterback for SMU last year. I mean, he came in through for nearly 4,000 yards, completely changed the culture of that team. I mean, was everything and more that they could have possibly hoped. The third one is tough. I mean, I mentioned Reggie Robertson. I'm not saying that he's necessarily on the list, but he is really, really good. There's a 1,000-yard rusher returning in the state, and he plays at UTSA and played in a very bad offense last year. Sincere McCormick. I mean, he's the best running back in the state right now. If you're going to go pound for pound, I mean, he is.
Oh wow,
he is a really, really good player. Yeah, at UTSA. And again, I mean, you're talking about UTSA's offense the last couple of years. Oh my God, it's been horrific. Like, he's not getting a whole lot of help, but he still rushed for 1,000 yards and averaged 4.5, 5 yards a carry. I can't remember exactly. So he's definitely in the conversation. I think obviously you have to include like Caden Stearns in the conversation, Garrett Wallow, Terrell Bernard. I think all those guys are in the conversation, but I don't know. Picking the number 3 guy is pretty hard, but it's probably one of those guys.
Okay. All right. I'll let that go. Let's